What's up, everybody? Long time no see, I guess. First off, thank you guys for sticking around, those that you did. I know the content's been lacking, but, COVID gets in the way, life gets in the way. We do what we can. I wouldn't say I'm done with YouTube. I'm kind of done with YouTube in the sense that I used to make tutorials and stuff. I don't really have the time for that anymore, so don't quite expect that from me. Maybe if I get an itch for it, or I see something people could really benefit for and or buy, and I decide I got to do it, then I will. But for the most part, I'm just going to slap some content up here. And I found the DCS Liberation Dynamic campaign. I've been following this for about, 6 months now. I tried it a while back. I didn't really care for it. It was a little janky. It's gone through a lot of development since then, though. And I saw Tourniquet on Twitch playing it the other day. If you guys don't follow him, you should. He is an Australian streamer. Very funny, very cool guy. Watch him when I'm watching Twitch at night. So anyway, but I watched him play and I thought, oh man, this has come a long way. So I thought I'd give it a try. I've been playing it for a couple days now. And I thought, man, what a great idea for a YouTube series, a dynamic campaign. Now, the idea behind all of this is it's kind of great in the sense that the DCS World, the campaigns themselves, if you die, that's it. You got to start the damn mission all over. And I hate that because I'm going to be honest, I don't care what it looks like on YouTube. I'm not super good at this game. So the great thing about this is if you die, well, kind of a la BMS, you can jump in a different jet. You can continue the turn. It's turn-based, so every time you push pass, it goes forward 12 hours, 24 hours, and you just continue. You pick a different jet and you move along. If you don't like what you did, if maybe the AI messes up or something goes awfully wrong, game crashes, you can abort the mission and it will allow you to basically replay it. And you don't have to save it. If it doesn't pick up your changes in the mission for some reason, something bugs out, you can manually input what happened. Obviously it's a little bit more work, but so far this has been a pleasure. There are bugs, do expect bugs, but for the most part, not so bad. So anyway, if you want to check this out and this tickles your fancy, here's the URL. I'll go ahead and post that in the description for the video. There's updates. Here's one 13 days ago, 18 days ago, October 5th. So they're fairly often, maybe once or twice a month. And that's where you're going to get it. So without further ado, it's pretty simple. You just download it, install the exe, run the application, and you start with this. So I think for this series, if I choose to continue it, we'll just start a campaign. I'm not going to make it super difficult. That's your fancy. I do play DCS to kind of unwind. I don't usually like to go through all the what's the word I'm looking for? Perfect brevity and radio calls and whatever. Even the flight plan, I might change. I don't know. But I'm going to play some missions, and if you guys want to watch, that's awesome. So we'll start a new one here. So you come up with this little wizard-style startup. This is the introduction, tells you that it's going to help you make a new game. You click Next, and here you have different factions. So if you want to play Germany, you want to play Blue 4 Cold War, what else do we have? Allies. You can choose to have mods installed or not. So this is with the A4, so you'd have to install the A4 community mod. You can play as China, France, Germany, India, all sorts of different options here. You can do Russia, private military companies, and the United States, or the aggressors. I'm going to go ahead and I think we'll start this one as USA 2005. We'll do something a little modern. Maybe we'll do a few different versions of this. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and select something. I don't really want to make Russia better than me as far as the future goes. So we'll go ahead and do 1990s Russia. Make it a little easy. Or at least that's my hope. I actually don't know what's going to come of this, but we'll try it out. So we hit Next, and here you get to pick your map. Now, I have been playing a lot of Syria. I really enjoy the Syria map, and I'm going to probably do that for this one. We'll do the invasion of Turkey. And you can invert the map, meaning if you start on the left and you have to progress your way to the right, you would flip it and start on the right and progress your way to the left. Pretty simple. The start date, I'm going to go ahead and pick Modern Winter and click Next. We're doing Invasion of Turkey, Syria, Winter. Now, you can choose to start mid-game. I haven't done this, so if somebody knows exactly what this is, go ahead and correct me. This isn't a tutorial on how to use this. This is just me playing this. So I would assume this means you have half the bases and they have half the bases. The enemy multiplier, this enemy is spelled wrong. If anybody who makes this is logging bugs, there's one. That is disabled for now. We can't use that. You can tell it you don't want aircraft carriers or LHAs. You can tell it to use a supercarrier module. I have it. I had some issues with it on the Syria map. It actually froze the client for me. So I'm going to turn that off for now. Maybe we can turn it back on later. And then you can tell it you don't want the enemy or player navy. I'm going to leave those as is. Now, the starting money, this obviously dictates how much spending power you have at the beginning of the war. You do gain money based on captured points every day or every turn that passes. 650 is kind of the starting point. You can go all the way up to $5 billion. I think this is in millions. It doesn't really say here, but this would be 650 million if I were to do 650 here. That's what it started out as. You can go all the way up to $5 billion. We'll leave it at default and we'll click next and finish. Now it's going to go ahead and generate our first layout of the map here. So here's basically what this is. We own, we being Blue Floor, own Insularic and Hatay. And then we also have our LHA Tarawa, and we have the Theodore Roosevelt off the coast here. Now there's also location Oyster, which I'm actually not entirely sure what this is. Maybe some boats. I'm not really sure if it's oil or I don't know. But here, details, no. Okay, location Penguin. We have another one here. And you can, if you want, you can do buy replacement and you can add a Hawk site to it, Patriot battery, whatever you want. We don't want to do that right now because that's going to actually spend our money. So let's talk about the map here on this side. This orange bar, this is your front line. So there is a ground war that happens across here, and you'll see fires in game to kind of dictate where that line is. And you have to basically add your ground troops during this phase of the mission making, and that dictates whether your ground troops advance or not, and you can play CAS roles. The possibilities on this are really cool because you can do all sorts of roles. You want to do dead, seed, CAS, BARCAP, escort, strike missions. They're all in here. And you can play it along with the AI. You can also do co-op stuff with your friends. It's amazing. So this is where we're starting. We basically need to capture all of this to win. Each one of these little things here kind of dictates how much money you gain. Where was that here? If you just hover over it, it tells you. So this one is $16, which I think is probably 16 million per turn. And that site's called Bongo. So this one we own right here. We get 29, like I said, probably million per turn. It tells you what is stationed here and the name of it at the top. If we hover over Hatay, it's just an air base. If we double click it, we can add units. We can add up to 10 different air units. We can add ground forces. This ground forces here dictates what is on this line, not ground forces at this base. If we want to reinforce the base defenses, we go to base defenses. We can do that here. We can say manage. We can go ahead and buy, replace different stuff here. We'll get into that in a second. I'm going to go ahead and back up. It looks like it gave us extra money. What happened here? It's supposed to be 650. Oh, well, we'll just go with it. Over here we have Giraffe, which is 29 million per turn. That is a FARP. We want to keep that. So yeah, the idea is you start here, you push this way, and you can win when you get to the end. Now, For us, the one thing I will say is I've done a few missions in this, and Hatay, this is a really crappy airfield to start off with. So you might be inclined, okay, to, let me go ahead and save and I'll show you what happens here. If we do save and we just call this, I'll just overwrite this one because I don't really care. We go ahead and save here. You might be inclined to add, let's add some F-15Cs, okay? And you can say, I want to add 4 of them, and then you would close this, and then if you click pass turn, it's going to add 4 units, F-15Cs, to this airbase. And then it's going to create probably BARCAP missions for them, right? Or escorts. And they'll kind of just be in this vicinity here. So they might BARCAP off of Hatay. They might BARCAP off of, let's say, this point here, which is TV tower. You can kind of frag your own mission if you want. It does auto-generate stuff to begin with. I don't want to click pass turn yet. I guess I can. I'll click pass turn. I'll show you what happens, and I'll just reload it. Okay, so it created 2 BARCAP. So we had 4 units. It's going to create two ship flights. So there's a BARCAP that is going to go from Hatay. They're going to come over to Insert, and that's where their racetrack is. So they would probably take off here, fly over here, and then their racetrack goes this way. And so they're looking for threats coming from Minek over. And then the second one is off of Hatay. So they're going to take off and they're going to BARCAP across these 2 points. And then they'll land. And you can see here their time on target, which is their start of the BARCAP, is 14 minutes in and 17 minutes in on this one. Now, here's the issue with this. The taxiways at Hatay are awful. They start midfield, so you taxi to midfield, and then you have to back taxi all the way to the end. I mean, you don't have to, but the AI does. And then the AI will take off. Now, the problem is that one will do it at a time. So you end up with one F-15 in the air, and then like 3 minutes later, another one goes up. Meanwhile, you have 2 or 4 MiG-31s coming in and attacking, and you have F-15s that are getting blown out of the air. So if you're starting this particular invasion of Turkey, don't have your cap take off from here, is what I'm getting at. So we're going to go ahead and reload this one so we don't have those F-15s. And we're just going to start here. So one more thing before we start. Let's change our settings. So you can change a few things, and I highly suggest that you do in a few of these. Your player coalition skill, you can set it to whatever. I'm going to set it to high, and I'm going to set enemy skill to, let's just do average for this one. If it's too easy, we'll go ahead and change it as we go. That's kind of the nice thing here. You can play with the settings, and if you don't like it, you can go back and change them. You're not set in stone. The enemy AA, I'm going to set it at average, and the reason I'm going to do that is if you set it anything higher, they pretty much become snipers, and they'll shoot you out of the air at pretty high altitudes, and they shouldn't be able to shoot you at least for the most part. So we'll leave that off, or leave that at average. In-game labels. Now, I don't like labels, so I'm going to turn them off. Feel free to do whatever you want here. It's your game. No night missions. I don't really want to play night missions. DCS at night at this current point in time is something to be desired for me. Certain things are too bright, certain things are too dim. It's not ideal, so no night missions. Map visibility. This is what you see when you press the F10 menu. I think for me, I really love own aircraft only, or just map. Either one. It depends on what I'm flying. For this particular fly through, I'm going to do allies only. And I'm going to do that because sometimes the AI does some goofy shit, and I want to know so I can either choose to abort the mission or accept it, but know that I need to do something to pick up the slack, if that makes sense. I've had a few flights where I'm escorting, let's say, a strike package, and for some reason their waypoints don't generate properly and they don't go where they're supposed to. And so because of that, I end up having to follow them or just ignore them completely and do something else. So for me, I'm going to run this one. It doesn't really give me an insight into what red's doing, so whatever. And on top of that, if I'm flying like the F-18 or the F-16, I already have data link anyway. I can already see most of my units, so not a big deal. Allow external views, whatever. We'll leave that on. Use super carrier module. So this is kind of like when we set it up, you can turn that on and off. Put objective markers on map. I think that's helpful at times. Whatever. Do what you want to do there. Never delay player flights. So what happens is you might generate or have mission generated for you. And let's say you're doing seed, BARCAP, and then you're doing strike, right? And so you would put your BARCAP up. They would take out the air threat initially, and then seed might go and suppress the air defenses, and then you might come in and clean up the mess, right? And maybe you're in the strike package. Well, strike may not go up for an hour because we have to have time for the BARCAP to go up and then seed to take, do whatever they got to do, and then you can go up. Well, if you're playing and you never delay the flight, you don't check this option and you're playing, you're going to be waiting about an hour, and you have to physically wait an hour in the mission before you can take off. You can't even slot into your plane. So I turn this on because I don't want to wait. And so then I frag my own mission based off of my own time limits, right? I only got an hour, so I need to be up in the air in 15 minutes, and I need to do my thing 30 minutes away and land. And so this helps me do that. Smoke visual reference, if you're having performance issues, you can turn that off. SAM start in red alert mode. So I'm assuming that this is the SAMs are ready to attack right when the mission starts, I guess. I don't really know. Obviously, these are all performance things. So if you're having issues, maybe disable a few of these. Moving ground units, that has always been a problem in DCS. Artillery strikes, same thing. Infantry units, same problem, obviously. AI will taxi all the way and park. If you're having issues with frame rates, this might be a really good one to turn off. Otherwise, immersion first, I guess. And then this one cleans up destroyed units if you uncheck it. And then the other thing that is interesting, so I kind of want to cover this because I think it's really important. If you're having issues, let me just kind of move the map over to here. So what happens is when you're playing the mission, all of the units for every single one of these red points, they exist while you're playing the mission. So I'm going to butcher this name, but Tabka, I don't know. It'll have the SAM sites. It may have ground units. It may have air units taking off and doing patrols over here. Same thing with this one. That might hurt your performance because there's stuff going on, but you're focusing on this area, so you're never going to come over here. So culling of distant units enabled. This will essentially leave out within a specific radius everything external to it. So if your bullseye is here and you say 100 nautical miles and 100 nautical miles is just before we get to Jira here, then maybe everything past Jira wouldn't exist on the map when the mission is generated. And that kind of helps your performance because all of the stuff in this area is not rendered. It's not taken in account for physics calculations, nothing, right? So if you're having performance issues, play with this setting. I'm going to leave it off for now because this is a smaller mission. It should be okay. If I see problems, I'll turn it on. If you're playing the full map, you might have to turn it on and off depending. Anyway, that's going to be a personal thing based on your setup. Now, cheat menu, if you're having issues and you're struggling, you can do whatever you want to do here. This one's pretty obvious. Lua plugins, JTAC auto lasing. So this allows a in-game JTAC to be available depending on your era for auto lasing purposes. This I leave on because unless I'm playing with somebody, I may not have the ability to auto lase. So I leave that on. I haven't used it yet. I'm sure I will at some point. Now, the next thing is Skynet IADS. Now, this is a smarter SAM system where it'll turn off and you won't get a RWR nail. And then it'll turn on when you're closer, or it'll make a decision to turn on and snapfire at you and then turn off. This kind of gives it a little bit of a dynamic I don't know how else to describe it, but this is a really cool script. I really like it. It adds a little bit of dynamicness to how the SAMs react and what they're going to do. It's not perfect, but it's way better than default DCS in my opinion. Here's the options for these. So you can tell JTAC I want to have smoke. I'm going to leave that on for now. You can tell it to create the IADs for both coalitions. We'll go ahead and do that. If you want to control it in game from the F10 menu, these check marks add that ability. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off for red and leave it on for blue because I'm not red. And then if you need debug information, obviously it's more of a developer feature, but it's here if you need to see something or prove something to a developer. There it is. And that's it. So that's kind of our settings. Okay. I know that was a lot to take in. I know I'm talking fast, but there's a lot to cover. I really want to get into a mission here. So we'll go ahead and do that now. So the first thing I'm going to do, and this will be hopefully a running series. I want to try to clear out this entire map here, and then we'll move on to something else, depending, and hopefully if we find some bugs, we can contribute to fixing them in one way or another, and hopefully you guys get some enjoyment out of it. I have so far really enjoyed this and want to continue playing it, so I guess that's good. Okay, so first things first, the beginning of every war, you kind of need some cap. We need to control the airspace from our enemy, and then we can focus on the ground threat. Without that, attacking ground units is going to be a pain because we're just going to get lit up out of the sky from their own cap. So, first things first, let's buy some F-15s. I'm going to buy 8 of them. We are obviously limited to the number depending on the base of how many units we can buy. We're also limited by the amount of money. So I'm actually going to buy 12 of these up front. Buy 12 F-15s. We'll leave those for the Navy ships. Let's buy 8 F-16s. So we're already down to 370 million. Actually, I'm going to back that up a little bit. Let's do 10 and 6. Give us a little extra room. We don't want Hueys here because they have a long way to fly. Hueys provide CAS on the front line. Same with the A-10s. You can tell an A-10 to go attack a target. You can tell it to provide CAS. You can tell it to do cap if you wanted to. But we're kind of going to designate those rules in our own head and leave them as they would normally be. Do we want some B-52 bombers? I don't think we need them yet, so we're going to wait. We're obviously not going to be taking this stuff right away. We kind of want to suppress their Air Force first. So I think we'll focus on that. So I think we're just going to do that here. I think we're good. We don't need to worry about base defenses. Let's not worry about ground units here. Let's come over here and see what we got here. Let's buy a couple ground units. I want to buy a couple Bradleys. A Paladin, a couple Abrams, and then we'll buy a couple APCs. Let's buy like 10 APCs. Okay, so these will be the defensive force for trying to push Minik. Actually, let's make them a little bit aggressive here. We'll make them aggressive. We'll buy a striker also. Okay. I think that's good. Our base defenses, I think I'm going to leave our base defenses alone. We have 4 strikers. We have Patriot Sight. I think that'll be enough for now. I'm not going to worry about this base. I'm going to worry more about this one. For here, let's buy a little division here of AV-8Bs. No helicopters. We'll come here. Let's buy. Obviously, we're going to want some Hornets. We're gonna push this value up front. We're gonna get $109 million the second I push past turn, and then all these units will be delivered. So we're gonna build up our fleet here. We'll do 2 F-14s, pushing our money value here, and then actually I'm gonna want some A-10s here. So we might want to fly them. We're gonna want to fly the A-10-2. So we're gonna maybe we'll wait a turn for that. We're gonna just, let's wait a turn on that. Maybe what we'll do is we'll buy a couple of these to kind of try to help suppress some of the front line. We'll supply them as CAS. Okay, I think we're good. So what I suggest to you is before you hit pass turn, just in case you might have forgot something, go ahead and save your mission first. And we got something here, we got something here, we got something here, we got something here. I think we're good. So we're going to go ahead and pass turn. And you can see here, tons of new stuff all over the map. Here's all of these packages that were created, right? Now, this is the DCS Liberation engine trying to figure out what to do with all the units you just purchased. This is all fine and dandy. You could probably go with this and it might work out. I'm not so hip on putting everything out there. This kind of puts everything out there. So there's 2, 4, there's 4, 6. There's 6 total. Is that it? How many did we buy? We bought 10, I think. So there's 6 of our 10. Let's see. No, that's all of them. Did we only buy 6 F-15s? We might only buy 6. Anyway, there's basically all of our units, right? Here's an escort. So there's 2 F-15s there. There they are. 2 F-15s there. 2 F-16s there. 2 Hornets there. 2 more Hornets. And 2 more F-16s. So yeah. All of our units basically got put into play right away, and I don't care for that personally. If you need to declutter some of this, you can come to display and you can say I only want to show like selected flight plan, and then when you pick a package, it's going to show you that package, and then when you come down here to flights, it's going to show you that flight plan for that particular flight. So I'm hesitant to do all of this, but I'm going to start deleting. And I want to be in control. So, first thing I'm going to do, I think, is definitely want to do some BARCAP. And I'm going to do the BARCAP to this point. So, you can specify specific coordinates for a waypoint on a flight, but only if it's a player flight, not AI. Now, we're not going to do that. We're going to try to do it within the realm of what it supplies, just for simplicity's sake. And then on top of that, it's kind of tedious to do. So I don't really want to do that personally. So I'm going to create a BARCAP over this point, and that should have guys fly out of here, and then they should BARCAP probably something like this, I'm guessing, against stuff coming from here. So we'll go ahead and do that. So you right click and you do new package. And then you're going to click add flight, BARCAP. You're going to click the unit type. We'll do F-15s. Where are they coming from? So if you had units at a different airfield, you could change it here. We have 10 available. I'm going to do 2. And you can choose client slots here. So if I wanted to play with a friend, I could do 2. If I wanted to just do one of the two ship, I could do 1. I'm going to do this one as AI. You can also come back and change it later, so don't worry about making that decision up front. So that is our BARCAP. We're going to click ASAP. This is going to tell it to set the time on target to the earliest time that all flights, which is in this package, not all flights that would be listed here, but all the flights across this one package, not all packages. So all of the flights to arrive at a target at a specific time. So we'll click ASAP here. You're going to want to become this button's best friend. You're going to constantly want to change it. If you change the flight, so like if I come in here and let's say I add another BARCAP. I don't know if it's going to work here because I can't change. That's unfortunate. Let's say I did BARCAP from here of AV8Bs. I don't know why I do that, but if I click this, it might change because your units are coming from another place. So if the target was here and you have units coming from over here and let's say here, they may not be able to get here at the same time. So you click ASAP and it's going to give you the shortest time that they can get to the joined location to provide whatever their role is. So we're going to go ahead and delete these AV8Bs and we'll go ahead and click save. So there you go. So we start here. It's going to come over to here as the first point. This is racetrack start and end. And they're going to basically go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth until 47 minutes into the mission. They should get on station here, 17 minutes in, 47 minutes total, and then they'll come back and land. Perfect. I think the next thing we want to do is we'll create another BARCAP, and I'm going to create this one over Hatay for now. So we'll go ahead and add a flight, do BARCAP, F-15s. Let's make this one, we'll just do another 2-ship, ASAP, 18 minutes, save. Okay, so you can see this one, they come down south here, start here, and 48 minutes later, they'll go back and forth. 48 minutes later, they go back and land. So now we have one BARCAP that's going to be looking this direction and another BARCAP that was going to be looking this direction. So that should cover a pretty good amount. And then I feel like we should try to take something out, at least on this turn. So we have some tanks, I guess. What is, doesn't give me any more information. So some buildings that need to be taken out. You can click on it and it'll tell you the intelligence that it knows of the stuff that's there. So we have an SA-11 Buck here, another one there. This one's just buildings. This is also buildings, also buildings. And then if we hover over these, this provides the enemy 28 million per turn, 28 million per turn. So let's, what do we have here? Intel. We have 8 MiG-31, so 8 planes against our 4. We might need some more BARCAP. They have some CAS available. Their front line, a little bit better than ours, maybe just slightly or the same. Their base defenses, they have an SA-11, BMPs, 3 Strelas, and early warning radar. All right, so let's be clever about this. So we're going to need to create a new package. And let's do, first things first, I guess we're going to have to attack this SA-11. Let's do that with F-18s from the Roosevelt. We need to do, I guess we'll do a dead strike. And then from here, you can open up. So if you double click on this flight, you can get a little bit more information. This is where you would go afterwards and say, I want one of these to be a client or 2 of them. or you could add more to it. You can change the cold start type, the start type to cold, warm, in-flight, runway, whatever you want. That only is available if you have a client slot. You can come in and customize their payload. Otherwise, I think it uses the default based off of the tasking order. And then here's where you can recreate the flight, if it's AI, based on them being a strike, a seed, an escort, a dead, cap, or CAS package, or flight within a package. If you're a player, you can delete a waypoint, add a waypoint, or add a RTB waypoint. Here's add a waypoint. I haven't used these. I haven't had to yet, so use those at your own discretion. For this, since this is an SA-11, I'm going to go ahead and arm these guys with a little bit of self-defense. They can escort themselves. Let's do the let's do harms, and I'm actually going to swap this out. We'll do harms and fuel tank here. I wouldn't want to fly this plane, but you know, not my problem. We're going to make these some heavy boys. Self-escort, dead package. And I think what I'll do, because there might be an air threat, I'm going to go ahead and do 4 of them. And ASAP. Now these guys are going to be 21 minutes. So here's where some of the timing comes into play. Let's save that for now. So the SA-11 is going to get taken out. Actually, let's split this package. Yeah, let's split this package. So we're going to come here. We're going to do 2. I'm going to give them extra harms here. They're going to be extra harmful. Click done. And then we're going to add another flight here. Let's see. Can I add them to a package? Okay, let's add a new package to come in here and take out this stuff. Nope, not that first. Add a flight. Let's do strike. We'll do F-18s from the Roosevelt. And I'm going to go ahead and just leave those. I'm going to leave this off, and we'll see what it puts on there. If it's really bad, we'll go back and change it. So I think that's good for now. Save. Oh no, we need to do ASAP. So they'll come in. I'm going to change this time on target to be like 3 minutes later. I don't want them to arrive before the buck is taken care of. This needs to be taken care of first. Okay, so we have that cap, that one. We're going to attack from there, attack from there. I'm going to stick another cap package here. Just because they have so many MiG-31s. I think that'll be fine. 18 minutes in, perfect. So they're going to have like 3+ minutes to go ahead and clear out those air threats. Did we not save that? We didn't save it. Son of a bitch. Sorry, guys. Let's see. F-15C. Insuric. I think that's it. Yep. ASAP, 18 minutes again, save. Okay, there's our bar cap. Did we already do that one? Oh, it's a little bit different. Let's delete that. I don't like that at all. Let's do it here. Add BARCAP F15C to create, save, mess that up, go back in. If you don't hit ASAP, it's okay. It'll say 00 here. Come back in. And done. Okay, so that one's 21 minutes because they got a little bit further to go. So, and their bar cap's going to be this way. So let's push this one out to maybe 20, we'll do 25, 00. Okay. And then this one we're going to have to push out to like 2700. Hopefully you guys are still following along. Now, another thing you can do, let's say this strike mission, these guys weren't self-escorting. I could come in here and I could add an escort. So I could come and say escort, and I should give it, you know, F-16s. It'll create waypoints for them to all join up on, and then ingress together. So that's kind of nice. I have had a little bit of an issue with that in the past, where one of them doesn't it shows in this editor that there's a waypoint, and then when you go to play the game or play the mission, one of the waypoints is missing, and then everything's messed up. So use that sparingly if you can. I think it's a little bit better to create different packages that help each other and kind of mess with the timing. Might be better, but I'll have to write up that bug for the makers of this, and hopefully we can get it fixed. Okay, so we have 2, 4, 6. Let's do another bar cap. Let's do it off of, I hesitate to do it off of anything where these guys can get messed up. If I do it off of here, they're going to fly right over this, and that wouldn't be good. Maybe I'll just create one. I did one there. Did one down there. Maybe I'll just create one off of here. I think that's what I'll do. That'll kind of cover a bunch of our airspace. Let's see. F-15s. Actually, yeah, we'll do F-15s. And ASAP, 19 minutes. Okay. I think we're good there. Now, here's where you can say, I want to fly an F-15. So you would do maybe this one, or I want to fly an Hornet, and maybe add a client slot to this. I would personally rather fly an F-16, mostly because I have everything bound for it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to set a bar cap off of this, and I'm just going to support for this first mission. I shouldn't have much of an issue there. We do have a lot of cap. I'm going to set this to 1 and 1, create it, and then I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to set my payload to what I want so I don't have to deal with it later. So we'll do 9X, some C's, fuel tank. Don't want one there. Ah. Fuel tank, fuel tank, fuel tank, fuel tank. It would be cool if whoever makes this to get the little icons here like I have in DCS. Do C, 9X, C, lightning, in case I need it. Waypoints are going to be pretty simple. It's going to be a racetrack, 1-1, cold start, and we're good to go. ASAP, 25 minutes. And we're good. Seems a little high. Why is that so high? Racetrack starts 25 minutes in. Okay. we'll go with it. Might have to fast forward some of this, cut out a little bit of time on the mission, but that's okay. All right, so now, before we do anything, you're gonna wanna save. If you're worried about your changes here, you might wanna redo them again. Go ahead and click Save As, and obviously make it, -1 or whatever. Save it, and then when you are ready to go, and you think you've set up the best mission possible, or you're using the mission that was provided, you click Take Off. Now, what does this do? At the top, you can see it says waiting for mission to complete, and it says you're clear to take off. Some of your flights may be delayed start. For such flights, it may not be possible to enter the cockpit. We already set the setting to disable that, so we don't have to worry about that. We can avoid all of this text right here. Here's where it tells you how to run the mission. So for single player in DCS, open the mission editor, load this file, which should be in your missions folder. And once it's loaded in the mission editor, hit fly, and then hit the flight button in the menu. For multiplayer, you would just create a server, add the mission, and hit fly. Pretty simple. And then this basically waits for the mission to end, and it watches a file that it's creating based on the mission Lewis scripts that it's added. It writes out all the stats. So this should update in real time based on you flying the mission. And if it doesn't, for any reason, you can click the manual submit, and then you can input the information yourself. If you screw something up, you can click abort. If you're done, there will be another button once it's detected you're done on the right here that says to accept the mission. Abort doesn't do anything other than return you to the editor. You can make changes, click take off, it'll regenerate the mission, you fly it again. Or you can hit abort and click fly and go do it again right away without making any changes. Maybe AI did something stupid, you want to try again. Maybe you did something stupid, you want to try again. This is kind of the nice part about it is you're not committed to anything until you commit. So without further ado, let's jump over to DCS and check it out. So here we go. We open the mission editor and comes up empty. We click open, and here is the Liberation next turn menu. If you're wondering what that was, I was trying to get something done for the F-14 to make a preview video, ran out of time, didn't happen. So here's the Liberation next turn.ms rather, and we'll click open. Now this might take a minute, and it might be a little slow at first, but here it is. So you can see there's a lot of stuff on here, a lot going on. Here's our front line. It's a little bit cheaty to be able to see all this, so close your eyes if you're, don't want to give anything away, and you click fly, and you're good to go. For me, I just want to point a couple things out. If you turned culling on, you may not see all of the stuff to the right here, or wherever your bullseye is. There's going to be a certain amount of distance that it'll actually put the units into the mission. You can click on your flight by clicking this menu here, as the triangle, diamond, square. We'll bring all this up. Click statics off, ships off, vehicles off, helicopters off. Find your plane. It's usually at the bottom. For us, it was an F-16, so here it is. It'll have player here or client if you chose to do multiple client slots. For me, it's going to be player. I'm going to switch this to client. It gives me the ability to respawn if I need to. And in here, you can check a few things. You can go to your loadout. Actually, don't see our loadout here, which is interesting. I'm going to pretend that didn't happen because it's worked for me in the past, so I'm not really sure why that loadout. Oh, here's the mission payload. That is what we took. Okay, sorry, I was thinking it was selecting something down here. Everything's good. Here's stuff that won't be there. Here's your start time. And then your radio channels. If you want to change things, you can. This is pretty much set up to what you need it to be, though. So you shouldn't have to change anything there. This will give you one last look at your flight plan, though, if you want to change anything about it. If you don't like where the auto-generated positions are of these waypoints. You can move them. Kind of a last check thing. So anyway, we're good to go. Click fly. Don't need to save my changes. And we'll wait for it to load. Okay. We're in. We recenter track IR. We'll select our slot. Now, the other really cool thing about this is it generates a knee board for you. And let's go ahead and look at this information. So first thing it tells you is most of the information, including the communication flight plan information, can be found on your knee board. So that's great. It tells you a little bit about the current situation, where the war is going on the ground. It'll tell you all of the flights that are going on and what they're doing and when they depart and whatnot. It'll tell you these CVN information, the TACAN radio and ICLS, sorry. Same with the Tarawa in case you're taking off from there. AWACS frequency, again, this should be one of your channel presets for most planes, but if not, here you go. And then JTAC information is in the F10 menu and the code for the current JTAC. 1688 is usually the default anyway. So let's go ahead and fly. Okay, so if we bring up our knee board, first page is going to be our lasing codes, at least for this module. I'm going to make that a little smaller. Actually, you guys probably couldn't see it if it were that small. I can, but maybe you won't. So next page, here is the information that it generated for us. So we have our call sign, our departure, frequency for the airbase if you do that kind of thing, our flight plan. So we don't need to leave until 15 minutes after 10. 10 is the start of the mission. So in 15 minutes, we'll have to be taking off in order to make our racetrack time on time. If you want to head off early and you have the fuel to support, I don't think it really matters. You play this how you want to play it. They're just giving you some guidance along the way. And here's our comm ladder, AWACS frequency, the tanker information, TACAN info, the UHF frequencies, channels that should be preset for you, and the JTAC if you need it. Go ahead and close that. Let's go ahead and start up our bird here. So we just double check. Looks like our loadout is fine. Looks good. Let's go ahead and start up the jet. Battery on. Now, I just want to note here, I don't play this to be precise and to pretend I'm a real fighter pilot to that degree. So if I miss something, because I either didn't know about it or I don't care, and you can all about it all you want and be salty and neckbeard me all in the comments below for this video. I don't care. I'll probably respond like a complete asshole, but you know, it was your choice. I'm just warning you now. Okay, so the engine is started. Let's go ahead and introduce the fuel. Fuel's going. Go ahead and close the canopy. Seal it. Wait for our engines here. Okay, engines are on. Let's start all our systems. Flip all these bad boys on. Stored heading alignment. Get that started. Come over here. Turn on our IFF. Radios. RWR. Countermeasures. Radar warning system. Set to manual mode. Turn on our HMD. Our HUD. Turn off the master caution. Come over here and flip on our FCR. Radar altitude. Right, left, hard point. Anything else? I think we're good. Ejection seat. And that's my checklist. Now we'll just wait for the alignment. And should be good to go. Again, we're running on, where's our clock here? We're running on Zulu time. So mission time, if you press Control Y, is 10:03:32. I'm behind on a few seconds because I did start up the jet. I don't know if that's a real thing or a bug. I would assume that Zulu time should be synchronized, but the battery's off. I guess it could be wrong. If you need to change it anytime, you can click 6, and then you can just punch it in. So for us, we know it's going to be 0704, and then we'll do 09, and we'll hit enter when it's the same at the bottom right. There it is. So now this is in sync with the mission time down here. We'll go ahead and return. Our alignment is good. Go ahead and flip the nav. We should be ready to go. Now again, our takeoff time is in 11 minutes, so we don't really need to go anywhere. We can just sit hot and wait. You can go ahead and come over here and kind of look at our flight plan. It looked like it didn't really take our waypoints properly here, so that's interesting. I don't really know what to make of that. Oh, I guess it did. Sorry, I was looking at the blue lines, white line. So there's our steer point. So one is here, so we'll fly from here to here, and then we BARCAP across those 2 points back and forth. Usually you do this with a 2-ship, and when one of you turns cold, the other one's turning hot, and you're kind of keeping that oval pattern going. Someone's always facing the direction of the enemy. I'm a single ship, so we're going to do it a little different here. We're going to improvise. Again, I just play this for fun. I don't play this to be completely accurate. I don't have the time in the day to do all that crap. So if you do, though, more power to you. I won't king shame. So what I'll do is during these lulls, I'll go ahead and create timestamps below in the description if you guys want to advance to when the next event or waypoint is reached. You guys can click those and move ahead. I'm kind of going to keep these videos long. I don't want to spend much time cutting them. They're going to be fairly raw, and hopefully get something out of it. You can see what really kind of happens during these missions if you want to sit through the lull points. If you don't, you can zoom ahead. That's what YouTube's for. That's what the fast forward button is for. So hopefully this works out. Hopefully you guys enjoy these. If you have comments or questions or dislikes or things that you think I could do better, I would absolutely pay attention, and if they're within the realm of reason as far as the amount of time I have to spend on this stuff, editing, I would absolutely do it. If I don't, no offense to you, I just don't have the time I used to have anymore. But if you guys are sticking around, I really do appreciate it. The view time helps, pushes that YouTube algorithm. Hopefully you guys see what, I guess, the life of a I think the problem is I play multiplayer most of the time, so those of you who watch my streams and stuff, the action is fairly consistent. You get up in the air, you fly 20-30 miles, and you get into a fight, and then you stay up there until you have normal missiles or you get shot down, and you return, then you get back up and you do it again, and you do that and rinse, wash, repeat. But I think a lot of people think that's what it's like to be a fighter pilot, and I think it's just not true. There's a lot of probably dull moments just flying through the air waiting for something to happen, or getting to a point where you're going to do something and then it's over in 10 minutes and you return back. So if you're really into the simism part of it, or the simulation aspect I should say, you might as well sit there and put your catheter on and pee in a bag on your leg. Otherwise, do what's fun, man. All right, so we have 8 minutes or so. Let's go ahead and take a look at where we are on this airfield. So we click this little icon here. This centers to our plane. We are way off over here, which isn't too bad. So we come out, make a right and a right, follow this around. we can come over here and prep, make sure everything's okay, and we can take off. So right and a right, swoop around to the right hand side. Pretty simple. So let's go. I really do like this map. For some of the hiccups and the performance issues it has, and the visibility range isn't as far as it should be, or the fact that it seems hard-coded and you can't really change it, the map is outstanding. Like the vegetation looks amazing. The amount of detail is fantastic. I gotta hand it to ED. I didn't want to get this map because I was like, it's just another desert map, but this map looks great. I'm not a big fan of the PG map. The map's fairly boring to me. I know a lot of people like it, and that's cool. Not my favorite. Caucasus is pretty great. I really love the Nevada map, and I know that goes against most people. But F-15? Should be an F-15. Boy, I'm all over the runway. That's what happens. It's like when you drive your car and you go for the radio and you reach for the radio and you turn the car. That's what happened to me there. So we'll have to see what the interval is on these takeoffs, because from the other airfield it was really shitty. Oh yeah, it's much better. It was like 3 or 4 minutes in between each plane. We already got 2 in the air. Probably have a third here pretty soon. Yeah, there's somebody taking the runway. You can see them down there by the red lights. So I guess we'll just taxi all the way down. We have 5 minutes. We might as well taxi all the way down and take off the right way. I was going to take off from there, but probably slam into one of these guys taking off, so might as well do it the right way. Hopefully I can pump out these videos fairly consistently, maybe 1 a week, 2 a week. So far, this has been fantastic. Dynamic campaign. I'm starting this one over, obviously, but I've played a few missions in succession, and I really enjoy the way it turns out. That was number 4 taking off, I believe. Should have 6. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, I think total. We should have a good set of cap going on here. Now the other thing to note is obviously the more units you have, the more DCS has to do to calculate what they're doing and make decisions and stuff. So you can do too much and you can drop your frames to a pretty crappy point. So just kind of be weary of what's going on and how many units you have. If you're adding 50, 60 ground units and 7 packages with 4 to 6 planes each, you're gonna have performance issues. So just keep that in mind. We have to be pretty quick here. We got 2 minutes. What's our takeoff time? 15 minutes exactly. We already got 31s locking us from super far away. This timing couldn't have worked out better. Now, I'm not going to call ATC because I don't care for the DCS ATC. Till they get a better one, maybe then I'll use it, but for now... Oh, a little break there. I'm gonna change this because if I don't, someone's gonna fucking about it. You didn't change your backup attitude indicator. It's still gauged. I'm gonna get that. So, I should have just left it on second thought here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I told you it's gonna be raw. It's not gonna be great. Oh, there's a lot of wind. Nosewheel steering's off. Holy fuck. Alright, we're okay. We're okay. Let's take off. Gear up. A lot more wind than I thought. Pushing us quite hard to the left. Gain some speed here. I always like to do the high energy takeoffs here. High performance, rather, sorry. High performance takeoffs. Oh, we got a lot of red. But we got quite the elephant line of fucking F-15s to go mop that shit up. Alright, let's push out to our steer point. 20,000 feet. Come back off the burner so we're not wasting too much fuel. And we're gonna go ahead and stick this bad boy in autopilot for a minute. Load myself out there. Altitude hold. I'm also going to set my bingo. I should have done this on the ground, but I like to do about 5,000 pounds for Joker, and then I'll switch back to 2,000 after I hit Joker. Alright, let's go to air to ground. Air to air. HSD on. Zoom in a little. Got a Bandit Angels 3. I'm gonna hope that these guys take care of a lot of that, but he is on our BARCAP, so might have to go handle business. He's getting pretty close too. He's Angels 1. So let's see here. It's my radar antenna. Like he disappeared. Perfect. So we're supposed to be on station at racetrack start 10:25. So we have 10 minutes to get there. We're gonna be there in no time. We'll start that early, which is fine. Let's press escape to get rid of this thing. Okay, so we got this guy here. He's gone. So far, these F-15s look to be mopping up, so might be an easy mission for us, which is great. We don't want to jump into the deep end too quick. Now, I think across this series, I'm gonna hopefully, once we get our toes wet here, I might want to do some, you know, next to impossible missions like A10C versus S300 and see if we can do it. I might do some silly shit, you know. I like to push the limits of what might be possible, and you know, if losing a plane cost me 24 million for a mission, just to have some fun, I'm gonna do that. So I might piss some people off because they're gonna be like, oh, you'd never do that in real life. But you know what? A video game. I'm also gonna piss off a lot of people because of that statement. So but basically, you know, play DCS how you want. Don't feel afraid to play it because a certain way because your friends play it that way. If that's not fun for you, don't do it. Just play it how you want to play it, man. If it's more fun to, you know, fight ground units in an F-15 because that's what you like to do, then do it. If it's more fun to dogfight, you know, F-15s in a P-51, you know, I have a friend who does that. It's really annoying for me, but you know, he enjoys it, so whatever. They downed him. Awesome. Awesome. What a good cap. We're off to a good start. We got the control of the airspace is ours. Don't see much else here going on. Zoom out. We got some more units coming in, but I think it'll be all right. This guy just popped up. He's cold. 2 F-15s to his left. Some MiG-23s here coming in. Sorry, this is Angels 23. What am I thinking? These guys are merged. Now, unfortunately, we didn't bring AIM 7s. Just a little tip, if you're ever... I'm going to slow my roll here. If you're ever shooting on somebody, let's say you have 2 friendlies and a bandit, and they're all in a merge, and they're furballing around, fighting each other, don't ever shoot a 120 into that. Don't ever shoot a heater into that. Always a Fox 1, AIM 7, or some other variant. Because if you lose lock, you won't hit your friendly. Well, words of advice. Alright, so we're about here to steer point 1. We're going to go ahead and flip over to steer point 2. We'll just keep it in autopilot for now. And we need to break off. This guy's cold. He's not a current threat. The closest thing behind him is going to be 30 miles or so, 40 miles. Yeah, about 40 miles away. We have an F-15 in front of us at Angels 11, so we might let him push. Another one cold at Angels 4. Yeah, it's quite a mess. Not really looking forward to shooting into this, just in case I lose lock. So we'll kind of just sit back and see what happens. I don't want to get too slow up here. These two got to be engaging. This guy's low though, so he might be defensive or need to be defensive. This guy's breaking through. We also have this SA-11 threat right here, which we need to be leery of. Our F-15 just went down. Alright, so we might need to pick up some slack here. Still have these guys back here. Those two. These guys, I think, were going off over here, and they were going to BARCAP this way, so. Yeah, let's see if we can focus on this guy here. Probably should have done this before, but master arm on, turn our autopilot off. We'll go into burner here. I'm also going to watch how much fuel I have in my tanks. Externals are almost empty. This guy has turned cold. Oh, he's flaky. He's dropped off, but another guy, looks like he's much lower altitude, is closer. Okay, so everybody's cold right now. We're gonna go ahead and flip back over and go back to steer point 1. We've reached about the extent of our waypoint here. We were pushing them, so it wasn't a big deal. I'm gonna let those F-15s push. I don't really want to get hung up in the SA-11 stuff here. We'll go ahead and turn around. I wish this worked. I wish I could declutter on both these screens. So we'll just keep an eye. If it looks like this 31 has defeated this F-15, we might turn back in. Looks like he's gone. So perfect. We got one more coming in here. And then it looks like everything would be clean for a little bit. So this might be one of those missions where nothing happens, but you know, that's kind of what we're at. And SA-11 shooting at us, so we're gonna go ahead and slam defensive here. You can see it there, tracking us 2 missiles out. I'm just gonna go ahead and turn cold. We should be okay. I don't think those will reach us. Not at these speeds, and I'm going to actually climb a little bit here, so that missile will be out of energy. The one thing I need to do here is I'm getting fight back from the autopilot, so turn those off. Yeah, so those missiles are dead. Alright. Come out of burner. I'm left over here. You can kind of see all the smoke. This is our front line. So I'm over the front line, coming up over the front line now. You can see the smoke extends over there and all the way down to those mountains there. So if you were doing CAS, that's where you would be. You would be in these front lines, and you'd be looking for, you know, to support those troops down there. I'm surprised our F-15s aren't getting slapped around by the SA-11. They're right above. We got an SA-11 tracking us still. That is the one that's over the F-15s, or the F-15s are over. Yeah, so hopefully, I mean, if you guys have some feedback, let me know. I'm trying to explain everything I'm doing. I know there's a lot of new people out there who get into DCS and they don't know what to do, so I'm trying to be as verbal as possible in situations so I can explain my thought process to you guys. The other thing I can do, if it's helpful, I don't really care one way or another. I think it's nicer to see the game, but I can, you know, pop myself on here. You guys can see me. If it's helpful to see me and my reactions and my hand gestures, that's fine too. Just let me know what you think, and I'll do that. For now, I'm going to keep that off until somebody tells me otherwise. You know, I usually use that for Twitch, but I can go either way. All right, let's take a look here. Scope's pretty clean. Looks like we got something coming in down here. That's pretty far away though, probably 120 miles away. Let's go ahead and create a little lazy turn here. Flip our steer point in case we want to turn on the autopilot. Flip it back to 1. I have a feeling I'm going to get a lot of BMS guys saying, oh, you didn't do this right, didn't do that right. Don't care. Don't care. I'll listen to it. Not trying to prove anything to you guys that I know everything and anything about this game, so. Also, it's a game in the simulation genre. Throw salt at that. What do we got left? We got one guy and he's running. One dude running. So we're here until... Doesn't really say. I thought it would say. I guess we're just here until we want to be. Usually it says departure time over here, and I don't know why it doesn't say that. Usually it says like 25 and you'll be here till 40. But I think we're good. I think we're good. We provided some BARCAP. I think I'm gonna go ahead and RTB, and we'll call this one quick and easy rather than sit up here all day and not have any more action. That guy might come back, but man, there's so many dudes up here. I don't even know if it matters. So go ahead and flip on the altitude hold. Let's change our steer point to 3, and we'll RTB. I mean, if we were being realistic, that dude would be stupid to not just land and fucking call it a day. And I think there's an airfield right about here, so he might be landing. I don't know. He said Angel's 22 though, so maybe not. I don't know what he's doing, but there's so much shit here and nobody else to help him. You know, DCS AI. What are you gonna do? This guy wants them. Angel's 39. Alright, so we're empty here. Go back to norm. We're still really good on fuel. I'm gonna go ahead and increase that throttle a bit, get home a little faster. Yeah, I could go in here, let's see, SMS. Does anyone bring one tank? Guys, I think I only brought one tank. I think I brought, but is that a travel pod? I don't see it here. I don't know what that other one is. It's one tank and something else. Good game. Yeah, nothing on that one. So master arm on, tank selected. There it goes. Now we have no tank. That is wild. I don't know what I did there. I'll have to go back and look. I think it's a travel pod. I'll bring my sandwiches in there, you know, just in case I get hungry. Yeah, it looks like he's coming back. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. He's just kind of orbiting near this SA-11. This guy's off to fucking no good. Let's take a look. Oh. That's our, the hell's he doing way out there? I thought that was an F-15. That is not an F-15. That is an E-3A. All right. That's our AWACS. Why he's over on the other side of enemy lines? I have no idea. That seems silly. Interesting. I think the same thing happened to me earlier. I had, I was playing a different mission and I wanted to go air-to-air refuel and my tanker was over here. And I was like, well, I'm not traversing that. here's one of the options that we set. You can see all of these little circles are where there's stuff to strike, and the names of them. You can turn that on and off within DCS Liberation client itself. It even has our stuff, so it's everything. It's kind of slightly cheaty. Again, play it how you want, man. Don't feel ashamed to play one way or another. If you want to play with labels on, more power to you, man. I think the community as a whole needs to get off its high horse sometimes, and I'm guilty of it myself. So, you know, whatever. But sometimes you got to sit back and reflect and say, "Who cares? Doesn't affect me. Who gives a shit?" All right, so let's go to navigation mode. We don't need this anymore. I don't really care what goes there. Go back to HSD over here. Sure. I guess we'll go back to the FCR. I have been bummed that none of this stuff has been implemented. There's so many empty pages. I'm gonna go ahead and come out of autopilot here. And airfield's below us here, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop down. The way every good fighter pilot does. On the other side of the hill? I think it's the other side of the hill. Keep that speed up. We'll come in hot and heavy. Fortunately, we're going to come in heavy. We didn't expend anything. But, you know, it's funny because I'm sure I'm going to get people like, "Oh my god, you wasted my time." Some of the most fun movements in all of DCS for me was when I was starting out and nothing happened. Like, it was these tense moments. I played a server called Blue Flag, and some of you are going to be familiar with it, some of you aren't. But Blue Flag is basically a multiplayer dynamic campaign where you try to capture each other's airfields, and you're basically PvPing to do something similar to this, but in real time against other players. Now, I remember, here's my bingo call. Let's come in here and set that to 2000 to keep my form up there. I remember when I first started playing Blue Flag, one of the things that I did was me and my brother went up and we got tasked to do BARCAP, very similar to what I just did. And we did a proper pattern where, you know, one of us was always heading towards the enemy and one of us away, and we would call our turns, okay, and we'd do a, you know, 30-degree angle of bank, 2 or 3G turn, whatever it was, 4G turn, and we'd try to keep it in sync the entire time. So when we were both rolling out at the same time, both turning in, the oval was sustained exactly the same, and it was tense, man. It was tense. We had an enemy at our nose, and he never pushed us. We controlled the airspace, and we never fired a thing. But for about 45 minutes, we didn't know what was going to happen, and that was a lot of fun to me. And I wish I could get that back, but Blue Flag's not played the same anymore. Everybody kind of has meta mined the information they need to figure out how to play it the most efficient way. And that's kind of how that server is for me now, and I don't play it very often anymore because it just feels really repetitive and everybody does the same shit. So nobody really kind of does like, let's set up a BARCAP here while we take this. I want to go get kills. I want the most kills I can get in the shortest amount of time for my scoreboard, and that doesn't appeal to me. And again, I'm not kink shaming anybody. If that appeals to you, more power to you, but it doesn't appeal to me as much anymore. And I'm all for PvP, but I need a little something else nowadays. So we're trying this now, switching off the PvP to the PvE. I've actually noticed a lot of people flipping over to PvE, and I think it's because the multiplayer scene seems to be lacking a lot these days. Now, this is not a proper overhead break. I came in about, I don't know, 1,000 feet too high. So don't use this as reference. We'll go ahead and descend here, down. Also didn't pull as many G's as I probably could have. Try to fix my trim. My trim's all messed up from that single tank that I brought. So typically, you would start at 1,500 feet, I believe. I'm sure I'll get corrected. AGL. And then you would do a 3.5 G pull, and then roll out, reciprocal heading to the runway you want to land on. And then you want the start of the runway to be about 45 degrees back from your heading, so it's usually just kind of look down the wing. There you go. I'm really far out because that was a really lazy turn. This is kind of be a little bit of a long base and final here, but you know, just keep a 3-degree descent, and then you can correct as needed. Again, this is not a tutorial, just explaining what I'm doing. I'm kind of feeling her out here, trimming it as I go. I'm going to come up a little short, so I'm going to slow that roll out here a little bit. Keep coming down a little here. It's not the best landing I've ever done. Kind of pumping that throttle, keep myself into a certain band for the speed. 200 knots now. We roll out, I'll bring the throttle back. Go ahead and roll out here, bring the throttle back, slow myself some more. Bring that velocity vector to the beginning of the runway. A little bit of wind. Adjust my seat here. Again, I'm heavy, so I'm going to have to come in a little faster than normally probably would. I'm coming in fairly steep, so we'll roll it out with some speed here. We'll do a little flare, add a little extra speed, straighten ourselves out. Here's our flare. Put it down like a Hornet, not aero brake like we're supposed to. And there you have it. We'll eventually stop. Hopefully it's not in the dirt. Crew chief will yell at us later for slamming on the brakes. But, hey, not my jet. That's it. That's it for us. So now that we've touched down, depending on how accurate you want to simulate yourself here, you could go all the way and taxi and shut down. For me, I'm just going to get off the runway here. And we'll call it a day there. So let's take a look what we did here. So go ahead and stop. And we'll quit. And when we come over to here, there you go. It updated. Accept results. Aircraft destroyed 18, ground units destroyed 3. Now, it doesn't tell you which side yet. Obviously, we had some downed F-15s, but we also downed a whole bunch of their MiG-31s, and no bases captured. So if this didn't come up, if the accept results doesn't come up, you can manually submit. Or if you really wanted to, you could hit abort. Again, that doesn't progress your status. You just go replay the mission and it tries to track it again. So we'll go ahead and accept results. We lost 6 F-15s. That's pretty shitty. We lost a Hornet and we lost a Striker. They, however, lost a lot of shit. 7 MiG-31s, 7 Su-25s, 2 Su-25s, 2 Su-33s. I didn't even see a 33. I'm surprised by that. And they lost a UAZ-469. Okay. Cool. So that was that day. So you can, if you ever want to see stuff up, that's been going on, you can see it here. This is the info panel. So I think we're good. That was a good day. I don't know if it progressed us already. Did it? This was the flight we already did, right? No, dead? No, so it's already pushed us the next day. Yeah. So it's regenerated the next day's worth of flights for us. We're not going to run these right now. We're going to end this video here. But that's basically it. We've gotten our money. So we added an extra 109 million to our tally. We did lose a lot of planes, so we'll probably have to come in here and resupply them. So we'll come in here and add F-15s. We'll do that in the next video, though. And we'll just continue this kind of, frag a mission, run a mission, accept a mission. Even if we fail, we're going to accept it. We're just going to go with what happens. If we take off and someone shoots us down in 5 minutes, that's it. We're going to accept it. We're not going to, let's try again. I didn't really like how that worked. Unless there's a big major bug, I'm just going to keep going and we'll see what happens. I do believe we set up a strike on one of these, but it doesn't look like that happened. Looks like we lost those guys or something. So we'll reassess in the next video and we'll push on. But yeah, thanks guys. I appreciate you guys watching and checking this out. Hopefully this was intriguing to you. Hopefully this was fun. I certainly had a blast right now, and we'll continue to keep going. Remember to like and subscribe. Push that like button. Hit that subscribe button. It certainly helps the YouTube algorithm. The more views I get, the more interested I'll be in continuing this as a YouTube series. If it's not doing well, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. So anyway, yep, thanks. And I'll catch you guys next time.